My name is Evelyn Carter. I'm 31 years old, recently divorced, and for the past 3 years, I've been quietly paying for my mother's apartment. No one in my family knows that part. To them, I'm the disappointment. The unstable one. The daughter who never quite got her life together. What they don't see is that my so-called failure has been keeping my mother's lights on, her internet running, and her rent paid, every single month. Tonight was supposed to be just another family dinner. A crowded restaurant. Too many plates. Too much noise. The kind of evening where everyone pretends nothing is wrong. But my mother pushed it too far. She laughed loudly, her voice slicing through the table chatter like a blade. She didn't whisper. She didn't hesitate. "So," she said, smiling wide enough for everyone to hear. "How does it feel to be completely useless, sweetheart?" The words landed hard. Familiar. Rehearsed. For a split second, my body reacted the way it always had. My stomach tightened. My shoulders pulled inward. That old reflex, shrink, apologize, smooth it over, flashed through me. Then it disappeared. I looked straight at her and spoke calmly. "Honestly, it feels great," I said. "Especially since I just stopped paying your rent." Her smile froze mid-expression, like someone had hit pause on her face. Then it vanished completely. The table went silent. My father's fork slipped from his fingers and clinked against the plate. He stared at me as if I'd just confessed to something criminal. "What rent?" he demanded. "What are you talking about?" My mother's eyes darted between us, searching for an escape route, a way to spin the moment back into control. She always did that, rewrote reality in real time. But this time, I didn't give her space to breathe. "I'm not joking," I said, keeping my gaze on my father. "For 3 years I've been paying her rent. Every month. From my paycheck. From my divorce settlement. She said you couldn't handle the stress, so I stayed quiet. But I'm done." The shift in my father's face was immediate. Confusion drained into shock. Shock hardened into something colder. "Is that true?" he asked her slowly. "Have you been taking money from our daughter without telling me?" She straightened in her chair, chin lifting defensively. "Oh please," she scoffed. "You know how dramatic she is." "Dramatic?" I repeated. "I paid the full rent. Utilities too. For 36 months. You called me crying, saying you'd be homeless without me." A murmur rippled across the table. My father looked from me to her. "You told me you were fine," he said quietly. "You said you had everything under control." "I did," she snapped back. "And now she wants to humiliate me because she's bitter about her divorce." That's when I almost laughed. "You humiliated me first," I said. "In front of the same people you've been bragging to. And yes, this is about control. As long as I was paying, you could call me useless and still know I'd show up every month." For once, she had no comeback. My father turned to me. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because every time I tried to say no," I said, "she used you. She'd say I was just like you, running away when things got hard. And I believed her. I thought I owed her my life." The restaurant noise continued around us, but our table felt sealed off, suspended in tension. "This isn't an accident," I continued. "I didn't blurt this out. I planned this moment. Every word. Every witness." I reached into my bag and felt the edge of a thick envelope. Bank statements. Screenshots. A timeline. Tonight was never just dinner. It was evidence. And this was only the beginning. The seconds stretched, heavy and taut. My father's hands hovered over the table, trembling slightly as he processed the envelope lying between us. My mother, Lydia, recoiled, her composure cracking in tiny, almost imperceptible ways. "You've been paying my rent?" he asked again, his voice low but sharp. "For 3 years? And I never knew." I nodded. "Every month. Every bill. I covered it all. And every time I tried to pull back, she used you against me." Lydia's face twisted. "I asked for help. That's all. She's exaggerating as usual." "Exaggerating," I repeated, my voice steady, each word measured. "You cried to me, threatened me, said I'd be the selfish daughter if I didn't cover your bills. That's not help, Lydia. That's manipulation." My father leaned back in his chair, silent now, staring at her like he was seeing her for the first time in years. The envelope sat there like a loaded weapon between us, thick with the proof of every financial transaction, every text message, every desperate plea she had sent in tears. And the worst part, I said, picking up the pace, is that everyone around us thinks I'm the problem. They think I'm the failure. Evelyn, calm down. Lydia began, but I cut her off. No. This isn't calm anymore. I'm done hiding. I'm done protecting your image while I burn inside. I've recorded everything. I've documented every conversation, every transfer. I have the receipts. I have the proof. The restaurant had grown quieter around us. Some heads turned. Waiters paused mid-step. A few couples leaned over, pretending to ignore us, but clearly listening. You recorded me? Lydia's voice trembled, a mixture of fear and disbelief. You wouldn't dare. I dared months ago, I said, because I was tired of feeling insane, tired of questioning my own memory, tired of thinking I was the bad daughter when all I did was keep you alive. Her mouth opened, closed, then opened again. This is cruel. It's not cruel, I said softly. It's reality. And reality has a funny way of catching up. My father finally spoke, his voice firm. Lydia, you need to see what you've done. This ends tonight. No more secrets, no more debts hidden behind your words. This stops now. She leaned back, eyes narrowing. You can't do this to me. You can't just abandon me. She abandoned me a long time ago, I said, feeling a calm rage settle in my chest. I've been carrying this alone while you pretended I was useless. But I stopped. Tonight I stop. That's when my Aunt Monica slid into the chair beside me, quiet, composed, but a presence that immediately shifted the room. Let me add something, she said. Her voice was calm, precise. This isn't new. Lydia has done this pattern to me too. When I was in college, she used my name for credit cards. She told me it was temporary and I'd pay her back, but I never did. And she's been doing the same thing to Evelyn for years. The gasp around the table was audible. My grandmother, Helen, sat frozen, clutching her napkin. Lydia stammered. That was years ago. I paid that back. No, Monica said firmly. You guilt me into forgetting it. Just like you guilt Evelyn into paying your rent. It's the same pattern. You play the victim. You cry. You promise. And when someone calls you out, you twist it back on them. Always the victim. Always ungrateful. I swallowed hard, realizing how vindicating it was to have someone else finally verbalize the truth. The words hung in the air like smoke, thick and suffocating. You knew. I asked Monica. Not about the rent, she said. But I recognized the tone. The same manipulation, the same pressure. I just didn't have proof. Lydia's eyes darted between us, panic creeping in. You're all ganging up on me. I held this family together. You held us hostage, I said, quiet but firm. And I'm done paying the price. Helen, my grandmother, finally spoke. Her voice trembled but carried authority. Is it true, Lydia? Did you take money from Evelyn all this time? Moments of silence. Lydia's lips parted and closed like she was searching for a lie that would hold. I borrowed a little here and there. You all act like I'm a monster. Monsters don't always look like monsters, Monica said calmly. Sometimes they look like someone who refuses to admit they're wrong. Someone who uses fear and guilt as weapons. Across the restaurant, I noticed a teenager at a nearby table, phone in hand, blatantly recording us. Lydia saw it too. Her face went pale. The carefully constructed image she'd spent decades building threatened to collapse in a single afternoon. Please, she whispered, leaning toward me. Don't play the recordings. Don't let anyone hear. I looked her straight in the eyes. You didn't care when you called me useless. You didn't care when you said I'd be alone. You didn't care when you tried to make me pay for your life. Now you care who hears. The tension in the air was unbearable. The restaurant noises faded into background static. All that existed in that moment was truth, exposure, and control finally shifting away from her hands. I slipped my phone back into my pocket. My revenge wasn't for strangers. It was for me. I wasn't going to broadcast her cruelty, but I had already decided. I was done being her safety net. Done being invisible. Done paying her debts. And for the first time in years, I felt free. The silence stretched, thick and suffocating, as Lydia slumped back in her chair, her fingers trembling on the edge of the table. My father, David, glanced at me, then at the envelope, then back at her, his jaw tight. The weight of years of lies, manipulation, and hidden debts had finally landed squarely in front of all of us. "You don't understand," Lydia whispered, almost pleading now. "I did what I had to do. You don't know what it's like to keep a family afloat, to manage everything on your own." I leaned forward, voice sharp but controlled. "I know exactly what it's like. I lived it. You made me believe I was worthless, that I'd fail if I didn't bail you out. And you called it family. That's not family. That's control." David's face hardened, his eyes fixed on Lydia. "This ends tonight, Lydia. No more lies. No more using Evelyn as a lifeline. I don't care about your excuses anymore." Her eyes flicked to my Aunt Monica, who was sitting calmly beside me. "You're all against me. Evelyn, you think you're so clever, recording me like some criminal. Monica, you were supposed to support me." Monica shook her head slowly, calm and unwavering. "No, Lydia. I support the truth. And the truth is, you've been manipulating Evelyn for years. The rent, the utilities, the emergencies, all yours to manage, but you pushed her to carry it instead. And now it's over." I could feel the tension in the air thickening, like the calm before a storm. Other diners were glancing over, whispering, drawn in by the intensity radiating from our table. The envelope, heavy with documentation, felt like a weapon, and yet it was our shield. Proof of everything Lydia had tried to hide. "You think this is going to destroy me?" Lydia's voice cracked. "You think everyone will believe you over me?" David's voice was cold and cutting. "It doesn't matter who believes what. What matters is that this stops now. The payments stop. The lies stop. The manipulation stops." She opened her mouth to argue, but I spoke first. "And the records? The messages? The bank statements? Do you think hiding behind lies will work when the evidence is right here?" I tapped the envelope. "This is reality. Not your version. Not your narrative. The truth." Her eyes flicked to the teenager recording us again, panic flashing. The mask she wore for years, perfect, confident, untouchable, was crumbling. She was exposed and she knew it. David leaned closer, voice steady but unyielding. "Tomorrow, Lydia, you contact the landlord. You tell him the payments won't be coming from Evelyn anymore. You handle your own responsibilities. You've been using her as a safety net for too long. This ends now. Do you think you're a hero now?" Lydia hissed, pointing at me. "Exposing me like this? You're tearing this family apart." "No," I said, calm but firm. "I'm not tearing anything apart. I'm reclaiming my life. And I'm setting boundaries. I'm done being the invisible one who covers for your failures." Monica's voice cut through like a knife. "She's not wrong, Lydia. You've done this to me before. And now Evelyn had to experience it. This isn't about humiliation. It's about accountability. You've manipulated, lied, and controlled for too long." Helen, my grandmother, finally spoke, voice trembling but firm. "I trusted you, Lydia. I thought you were holding things together. But this? Using your daughter for your bills? That's not holding things together. That's exploitation." Lydia's hands clenched, knuckles white. "You think I did this on purpose? You think I wanted her to suffer? You don't get to decide what suffering is," I said quietly, voice steady. "You do not get to control other people's lives to make yourself feel safe. I've lived in fear of your words for years. Fear of being called useless. Fear of losing family because I said no. Fear of being exposed. That ends tonight." Her eyes darted around, realizing the damage. The truth was out. Witnessed. Documented. And nothing she said could change that. The teenager at the next table lowered her phone, disappointed, but I didn't care. This wasn't for show. This was for me. My life. My freedom. I took a deep breath, steadying myself. "I'm done. No more payments. No more secrets. No more lies. And you will take responsibility for your actions. If that means losing control over how people see you, then so be it." Lydia's face twisted, a mixture of rage, fear, and disbelief. "You can't do this. You're breaking the family." "No," I said, calm and unwavering. "I'm saving myself. And maybe one day you'll understand what that means." David finally sat back, the envelope still in his hands. "Tomorrow, Lydia. You fix this. Not because I'm forcing you, but because you need to finally face the consequences of your actions." Her breathing was shallow. Her mask was gone. For the first time, she was truly vulnerable, exposed, and powerless. And for the first time in years, I felt lighter. Free. ready to live my own life. The restaurant felt strangely quiet after my declaration. The clatter of plates and low hum of conversations returned, but around our table, time seemed frozen. Lydia's eyes were wide, wild, darting from me to David, to Monica, to Helen. She realized that her perfect image, the one she built for decades, was crumbling, right here, in front of everyone. "You're going to regret this," Lydia hissed, her voice low but sharp. "You think this ends here? People will talk about you, Evelyn. Everyone will know what you've done." I leaned back in my chair, a calm I hadn't felt in years settling over me. "Let them talk," I said. "I'm done hiding. I'm done carrying your secrets. My life isn't yours to control anymore." David finally broke the silence, his tone firm but not angry. "Tomorrow, Lydia, you call the landlord. You explain that Evelyn is no longer responsible for your rent. You make your own arrangements. And yes, you will pay him yourself. No more transfers, no more excuses. This ends tonight." Lydia's hand shot toward the envelope, panic in her eyes. "You can't just leave me like this. Do you know what this means? You're destroying everything." Monica leaned in, voice steady. "No, Lydia. You're exposing yourself. That's the truth. And it's about time someone held you accountable." Helen, my grandmother, cleared her throat, voice wavering but sharp. "I trusted you, Lydia. I believed you were protecting this family. But this? Using your own daughter to cover your debts? That's not protection. It's manipulation." Her eyes flicked to me, rage and desperation mixing in equal measure. "You think you're so clever. Recording me, saving receipts, planning this confrontation. I think I'm finally free," I said, my voice calm. "Free from fear. Free from guilt. Free from your control. That's the only cleverness here." She froze, realizing the room was no longer hers. The teenager from the next table subtly lowered her phone, and several nearby diners had paused, sensing the drama, but I ignored them. This wasn't a performance. This was reality, and I was finally taking my life back. Lydia's breathing became erratic, shallow. "You can't just walk away from me," she whispered, voice cracking. "You're my daughter. You owe me. Everything you are, you owe to me." I met her gaze directly. "No. Everything I am, I became despite your manipulation. You don't get to define my worth anymore. You used me, lied to me, made me feel guilty for saying no. That ends now." David's expression softened slightly, but his voice remained steady. "If you want any relationship with Evelyn, with this family, you will take responsibility. Get help. Stop using people. Stop hiding behind lies. If you can't do that, you'll be alone." Lydia's lips trembled. There was a moment, just a flicker, where I thought she might apologize. Maybe realize the harm she'd done. But then the wall went back up. Cold. Defiant. Unyielding. "Fine," she spat. "Go. Leave me. Don't expect anyone when your life falls apart." I stood slowly, heart pounding yet oddly calm. "That's the thing, Lydia," I said. "My life started getting better the second I stopped trying to save yours." David handed the envelope to Monica, who placed it carefully on the table. "This is documented," he said. "There's no going back." Lydia's face contorted in panic. "You don't understand. People will judge you. They'll think you're cruel." I shook my head. "I'm not cruel. I'm accountable. And I finally know what love isn't. Love isn't fear. It isn't control. It isn't manipulation. I won't let you define me by your fears anymore." She gaped at me, mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. The teenager nearby lowered her phone completely, realizing the chaos she'd hoped to witness wasn't for her. I didn't care. This wasn't about a show. It was about freedom. "I'm done being responsible for your lies," I said, voice steady. "And you? You're going to have to live with the choices you made." For the first time, Lydia looked truly lost. The mask she had perfected over decades had shattered. She was exposed, powerless, and finally accountable. I could feel the adrenaline still coursing through me. But underneath it all was a strange serenity. I had drawn a line in the sand. I had taken my life back. And no one, not my mother, not her lies, not the fear she tried to instill, would ever control me again. The restaurant air felt electric, charged with tension. Every word we'd exchanged had drawn lines that could never be erased. Lydia sat frozen, her eyes darting around as if seeking an escape route that didn't exist. David leaned back, letting the weight of the moment settle. "Evelyn, are you okay?" he asked quietly. His concern grounded me. It wasn't pity. It was understanding. I am, I said, feeling a sense of clarity I hadn't experienced in years. For the first time, I am okay. I finally reclaimed my life. Monica glanced at Lydia, her expression hard. You'll have to face consequences now. You can't manipulate anyone anymore. Not your daughter, not your sister, not your own mother. Lydia's hand shook as she reached for her purse, probably looking for her phone, for some way to control the narrative. But the envelope with all the documentation sat untouched, a quiet yet undeniable proof of her deception. People will know, she whispered. They'll see this isn't fair. I'm still their mother. You're still your own person, I said firmly. But being a mother doesn't give you the right to use people, especially not your own child. David exhaled slowly. From now on, everything is transparent. No more hidden debts, no more secrets. You will live with the reality of your choices, Lydia. It's time to grow up. Lydia's shoulders slumped slightly, the fight leaving her in little tiny waves. She opened her mouth, then closed it, unable to find the words that might undo the years of damage. I pulled out my phone again, not to threaten but to set boundaries. This folder, I said, nodding toward the envelope, has been shared with those who need to know. Not for gossip, not for revenge, but so no one can ever twist the truth again. Helen, my grandmother, put a gentle hand on my shoulder. Evelyn, you've been brave, she said. And finally, justice isn't about punishment. It's about truth. And you've given us the truth. I took a deep breath, thinking about the future. No more secrets, no more debt, no more fear. Just life lived on my terms. And as the restaurant lights faded behind us, I knew this was only the beginning. If you want to see the next story even more intense than this, hit like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me in the comments, what type of story should I uncover next? Another thriller? A true crime mystery? Or a shocking family drama? Your choice could be the next video. Because one thing is certain, truth has a way of coming out, and no one, not even the most controlling people, can stop it forever.